Okay, when you said that you chose electrical engineering, it was by choice or did your rank made you to choose it?
No, it was my choice. I wanted to study electrical engineering and then I wanted to further specialize in that.
So why electrical engineering itself?
I wanted to study control systems, robotics and automation. I don't know how to answer this question. Kashmir was safe, but it was not advisable to step outside the NIT campus during hartals and curfews. So of course that's the time even the entire travel used to come to a halt. So I got handpicked by this gentleman because he saw my work during my internship and he said, I want to make a solar radio telescope.
Okay.
Experimental.
Okay.
And why don't you work with me to develop a prototype? So I said, okay sir, 5th semester I'll come back, and he started doing this and that became my final year project. It was all ingrained within me by my mother, right from childhood. So you would say that, it's safe to say, it will not hurt to say that at times I was homeschooled by my mother as well, because my mother was an English teacher. Captain क्या करेगा यार? He will just try to navigate the ship and take the waves on your bows. That's it. और कुछ करेगा नहीं है. Whatever is the.
But that belief that everybody says that captain कुछ करेगा makes a captain like a.
Captain तब कुछ करेगा जब सामने से कुछ threat आए.
Okay. Sir, how are you?
Oh well, yeah. You tell me, how are you?
I'm very good. So the journey from Bangalore to your place was very hectic.
Okay.
It was like I traveled 4 hours to just to meet you.
Reach.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yeah.
You gentleman. Why I thought of podcasting with you is when I just went through your profile through my friend. I found it very interesting. When I went to your Instagram channel page, it said me that you are the youngest GTO. And you are also a member of building up a SSB board in Kolkata. And also you have worked in SSB board of Bangalore. So I being the SSB aspirant, or I being the cadet who is going for my SSB, I found it a very good opportunity so that I can know directly from the horse mouth. So क्या होता है? Because I have also taken coaching from many institutes, and still I feel that when I talk to a person who has already been in that frame of serving or assessing the kids, and also who has gone through that process as a cadet and cleared it, it would be a nice thing to speak to you. To start with, so who is Nikhil before Lieutenant Commander Nikhil was attached to his name?
Okay, so I come from a very small background. I was born in a place called as Yavatmal near Nagpur. It's a district headquarters.
Okay.
I was born in Yavatmal, and I was raised single-handedly by my mother. And that's why you can find her name in my name. So I'm known by my mother's name. So Chandrakala is my mom's name.
Okay.
And so I did my schooling and pre-university college, class 11th and class 12th, from a school in Yavatmal.
Okay.
It's St. Aloysius English Medium School.
Okay.
And then class 11th and class 12th at Anglo-Hindi Junior College, Yavatmal.
Okay.
And after that, I went to NIT Srinagar, JNK, on the basis of AIEEE, All India Engineering Entrance Examination. It used to be conducted those days.
Okay.
And I chose electrical engineering.
Okay.
And I studied BTech electrical engineering at NIT Srinagar, class of 2011.
Okay.
Graduated under National Merit Scholarship.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, it sounds like you are a very good student.
I don't know. That's the case. I don't know.
Okay. When you said that you chose electrical engineering, it was by choice or did your rank made you to choose it?
No, it was my choice. I wanted to study electrical engineering and then I wanted to further specialize in that.
So why electrical engineering itself?
I wanted to study control systems, robotics and automation.
Okay.
That is why.
Okay. Now I have a straightforward question to you. You told that you are raised by your single mother. Do you think it's very challenging at that point of time because to a kid who do not have a father, how do you manage those emotions?
For me, my mother figure and my father figure were both one person.
Okay.
So, as much, we say na कि वो माँ की ममता and all that.
Okay.
So, वो स्नेह लाड प्यार whatever that mom brings on the table in
Okay.
raising up a child.
Okay.
Um, Along with that, she was playing a dual role of being strict with me as well. She was a disciplinarian as well.
Okay.
So, as far as my emotions are concerned, I was the apple pie of her eye because I was a single child, and I think she did a pretty good job in raising me up.
Okay.
Because whatever I am today is because of her. Yeah.
Then how come from NIT, where you have a good crowd coming into NIT, and then how come this idea of Forge came?
Okay, so I studied in a college, NIT Srinagar, of which Mr. Sonam Wangchuk is also an alumnus. Sonam Wangchuk is the guy inspiration behind the movie Three Idiots. And
because of the 3 Idiots, you went to NIT?
No, that's not the case. When after going to the NIT, that movie was released.
Okay.
To be precise, I think I was in 5th sem. That was 2007, 8 or something. The movie was released. Before that, only I had taken the admission, so I also didn't know that such kind of person existed.
Okay.
But the point is that the faculty of my college, they were very highly learned. And the syllabus of engineering, it runs parallel to the syllabus of the engineering, the same field, electrical engineering, that is taught in IIT Delhi.
Okay.
And the professors are PhDs and postdocs, not only from renowned institutions in India, but also some of them are ex-Ivy Leagues as well. And they primarily consulted for JNK Power Electricity State Board, power generation, distribution and transmission. So, I mean, you could safely say that कि valley में जितना भी electricity generation, distribution, consumption, transmission होता है, so the professors were consultants for actually setting that up right from the scratch. Quite a lot of few people have actually built that system. So I was really impressed by the kind of faculty that they had. So that's the reason I chose this engineering branch, also with my personal interest. And then after I landed in NIT Srinagar, what happened was I was exposed to Forge. I never saw Forge in my life until then. And I was like, dude, what the hell is this? Everywhere is just army, and CRPF. So there's this one CRPF battalion, जिसका headquarter company was primarily placed inside our college campus for college campus security.
Okay.
So they used to run early morning, and me and few of my friends who were fitness freaks, we used to run behind the company. So they used to keep running ahead, हम पीछे पीछे दौड़ते थे. And as a school student on the NIT ID card, I have traveled across the length and breadth of the Kashmir Valley, all the disturbed, non-disturbed areas, and different places and locations, even until POK. As a student, I've just gone to various places.
At that point of time, Kashmir was safe?
I mean, I don't know how to answer this question. Kashmir was safe, but it was not advisable to step outside the NIT campus during hartals and curfews. So, of course, that's the time even the entire travel used to come to a halt. But yes, I studied during disturbed times.
Okay.
So whatever was there as a part of passing the time, apart from your studies, whatever facilities were available to the students were inside the college campus. And Srinagar as a city is very, very different from any other metropolitan city in our country. If you were to talk about, let's say, Pune or Bangalore, certainly not.
So what makes you say that?
Yeah, because the life in Srinagar is very different from what the life is of a student in Bangalore and Pune. That's not the case.
Okay.
Okay. So we were confined to, I think, 40, 50 acre campus.
Restricted campus.
Restricted campus, right? Usi mein you are there, you get up, you go to college, you come back, and you will come back to, your hostels, and probably once in a while when things are okay in the valley, probably would just go to Lal Chowk for some kind of shopping or probably to some kind of a restaurant to eat food with your friends and then just come back. That was the life in Srinagar city. And I was exposed to armed forces. I was really fascinated, and I thought that 9 to 5 I won't be able to do. That's not my cup of tea, whether a PSU or a non-PSU or a MNC career.
So basically, when I just go through your profile, the first thing what came to my mind was, ये बंदा तो पीछे भाई, ये बंदा तो from college time you are not into this corporate stuffs. You do not wanted to go to corporate, because when I see you going and working in Tata Institute and you go studying in IISc, basically you are more like a keen learner than to go to a corporate thing and just work like a donkey for 10 to 5 or something. Is it true?
Yeah, so I mean, in your language, if you want to put it across like donkey hours, so yeah, I mean, I wasn't really okay to work donkey hours.
Yeah.
But I wanted to create something out of a scratch. Or rather, I was more inclined that there has to be some kind of a thrill and an adventure, where you're also exposed to challenges which force you to think outside the box and think through first principles. And if that's the case, then you need some kind of kick and a challenge in life, which I personally felt that probably armed forces is one of the doors where you would get some kind of an adventure and you're also challenged to think outside the box. And I wanted to understand whether the skill set that I have, will I be able to contribute to the org and also learn from the org and grow myself and sharpen myself and polish myself.
Okay.
And that's the reason I thought that armed forces is one of the organizations that, yeah, this looks much better than anything else. And to be very honest, I lost my mom in my third year, and then I did not have a family to go back to, or rather I did not have anyone to fall back on. So armed forces as an organization is a place where people leave their families and then they come there, and then you build a family of your own. So if in a nutshell, if I were to put it back, it's a very close-knit family.
Okay.
So you would have someone to fall back on, which is your parent unit, in terms of army. So that is one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to join the armed forces.
Okay.
Yeah.
And still, I want to know about your life in Kashmir, because you said that at that point of time you had a CRP of battalion which was placed inside
Headquarter company.
Yeah, headquarter company placed inside your campus. So at that point of time, a person going from Maharashtra landing up in Kashmir. Now I'm remembering a dialogue from Family Man. When he goes to Kashmir for some operation, he just makes a fun saying that there are all our tourists with uniform.
Yeah.
There are all our tourists with uniform.
Yeah.
So how was that culturally shock to you?
Yeah, it was a very big cultural shock because एकदम से मतलब, you are thrown out. यहाँ पे in a small town, probably in summer vacations, you would step out and go out with your mom as a kid, khana, pina, Meena Bazaar, and probably learning karate. Like my mom was very keen that I should become some kind of a martial art form. So she put me into a karate school while growing up, and then school. That entire life was like, it was a small town, and then वहाँ से उठ के सीधे you are in Kashmir. So it's a huge cultural shock that you can't step out of the college. There's nothing to be done there outside. कुछ है ही नहीं करने के लिए. तो क्या करोगे? So then you start making best out of waste.
Yeah.
So engineering college में generally NITs and IITs, they have this fad कि third sem, fifth sem, seventh sem के बाद में you will go out for some kind of an internship and learn something in some company, in some kind of an organization, build up your skill set. So you'll find some kind of a core company. I was pretty much interested to work in control system. So I wanted to understand what is a control system. So I thought कि ठीक है चलो, I will apply to, let's say, इंडियन एयरफोर्स में 7 BRD तुगलकाबाद में इंटर्नशिप के लिए चिट्ठी लिखी मैंने, एंड उधर से कॉल आया मेरे को अकेले के लिए नहीं, मैंने अपने पूरे ब्रांच के लिए आई रोट द लेटर, एंड आई थिंक इट वाज अबाउट 10-12 of us that we got an internship offer letter to go in. But then the other guys were not really interested to join, so I had another fallback option that I could go in do an internship at a place called as Giant Meter Wave Radio Telescope, GMRT. It is world's largest very low frequency radio telescope.
Okay.
And it's an international facility which is used by international researchers in the field of radio astronomy and associated research areas of radio astronomy.
Okay.
So I went there, I understood control systems, huge gigantic dishes, 45 meter के 30 dishes, and वो कैसे घूमते हैं, and how do you point at a particular location in the universe. I was really fascinated by that thing. I was in a place called as Narayangaon in Kolkata in Pune, and I used to shuttle between NCRA and Narayangaon. 2-3 महीना वहाँ पे बैठ के बहुत कुछ सीखा, and there I met Professor Govind Swarup. Now Professor Govind Swarup is a very big man.
Okay.
He is called as father of Indian radio astronomy.
Okay.
Mr. Bhabha pulled him out of Stanford University in 60s, where he was a professor.
Okay.
And he was a research associate scholar, I don't know, something at Harvard. And from there he went to Stanford as a faculty. I think it was in 60s or something when Bhabha pulled him out from there, and he said that we have to build a very strong astronomy research group, radio astronomy research group under Department of Atomic Energy of Government of India.
Okay.
So 60s की बात है, early 60s में, and he pulled him back. And this guy was a pioneer of Indian radio astronomy, research in India. So if you were to Google about him, you will figure out that how many awards he's been conferred with. I think he is a Padma awardee as well.
Okay.
I don't remember exactly. Bhushan and Vibhushan and Padma Shri, one of the Padma awardees. So I got handpicked by this gentleman because he saw my work during my internship, and he said, I want to make a solar radio telescope.
Okay.
Experimental.
Okay.
And why don't you work with me to develop a prototype? So I said, ठीक है sir, 5th semester में I'll come back and we start doing this, and that became my final year project.
Okay.
7th semester के बाद it was funded by him. He funded the project. Personal पैसा दे करके he funded the project. So I knew exactly that my career is set. If I wanted to stay at DIPR, I would have continued there as engineer C or maybe scientist B. I mean, had I shifted from engineering to research, whatever the case be, I could have done anything under the sun or the moon. But then, बात ये थी कि after that incident, I was sitting with Govind Swarup in his office at DIPR, and my mom was also there.
Okay.
And we both were sitting, and he gave me some cash money. And he was like, your prototype here is done. You go back to Kashmir and fix up this prototype and send the readings to me. And if it is good to go, then we will expand this mask here. And
so whether it was that easy going to Kashmir, setting up everything, because Kashmir is a very protected state.
Finally, a project के लिए तो you can get things made here and there. You have to get a lot of electronics and associated systems, motors. You have to get fabrication done of a lot of things from here and there. That anyway, I had done one prototype. I had to just replicate it there. So that's not a big deal. Okay, my project was done at DIPR. The project report was signed by Professor Swarup. That I know for a fact. So उसके बाद क्या है कि that's the time me and my mom parted ways, and that was the last time I saw her. Because I went back and I started working on the project, and here my mom went back to our house in Yavatmal, and after that she passed away.
So what was it? Was some health issue?
Yeah, it was some health issue.
Okay.
So she passed away, and then suddenly I had no one to fall back on. It was like, जैसे वो बोलते हैं ना, पैर के नीचे जमीन निकल गई, and then you are falling into a black hole, sinking. I was just sinking. I didn't know what to do because I literally I was struggling for money. I was struggling for 2 time की रोटी. I had no one to fall back on. So I was surviving on little bit of money that I had earned from my internship, and I was very clear 5th sem के internship के बाद में that I want to join the Air Force, fighter pilots. This is the life. Because वो पहले internship के पैसे से when I landed on the Srinagar airport, you see those MiGs and fighter aircrafts on the Srinagar airport, and while stepping out of the Srinagar airport, you will generally see a lot of fighter pilots and things. I was like, यही life है भाई. Ray-Ban and the fighter pilot and things like that. बाकी सब तो बकवास है.
Typical kid of that age. How it is?
I was not a kid that time. I was earning my own bread.
Okay.
And when my mom saw me in Professor Swarup's office,
Okay.
She told me that you've grown a mature man, and I think I have been successful in raising you up. Now I think you can take care of everything.
Okay.
So that were her last words in person that I heard. And and there are other stories told also. Yeah, I mean, ये third sem के internship के बाद में I had written a letter to public relations officer of Retd command. That time it used to be an officer called as Flight Lieutenant Priya Joshi. I don't know where is she.
Okay.
But she forwarded that email of mine, me expressing an interest to join the Air Force, to Public Relations Officer, PRO Defense Srinagar 15 Corps.
Okay.
And she said that there is some terrorist who sent an email. So I was picked on a gunpoint.
Okay.
Outside the, I was outside the gate of NIT Sri and I was picked up on a gunpoint. And I was standing in proper tie and NIT jacket and properly dressed. I was like, somebody's called me because I'm going to join the Air Force. I was in third sem. I didn't know shit about anything. And then when I reached this public relations officer's office, this guy is like, he immediately gave a call to Flight Lieutenant Priya and said, dude, this guy is just a student of NIT Srinagar. He's not some terrorist. And I was like, sir, I want to join the Air Force. These are my certificates. Can you please help me? And this guy started laughing. He's like, yeah, there's a process. You need to go through some process. And then I became friends with him. And after that, my interest to join the armed forces picked up gradually, immediately after third semester. I was very clear that this is what I need to do. This is exactly what I need to do. So, but you see, the university entry scheme, the form becomes relevant to you in 7th semester. UES, the university entry scheme of the Army and the Navy. So, you would not keep sitting for one thing, right? That is why I had started exploring this research option at DIPR.
Okay.
Because I was so keen that if I were to work at DIPR, probably my masters would be somewhere at Stanford or Harvard, masters in control systems, or probably masters in electrical engineering at Harvard University, or probably MIT School of Engineering, or maybe Stanford or Caltech, California Tech.
Mm-hmm.
You know Caltech, it is showcased in Big Bang Theory. Yeah, so probably Caltech or something like that. So I was very clear that यहाँ पे masters करना है, and then probably continue somewhere in radio astronomy or probably that kind of a research where as engineering lead at any research institution, probably control systems. ये was one of the things that I thought. But I was like, बिना engineering की degree की एक pilot बनना तो बहुत मुश्किल है. If you're sitting in a fighter cockpit, they want engineers. Avionics is one part of it that you know and you understand. Control systems and avionics is a part of electrical engineering. So it would be really thrilling to fly a fighter aircraft. And that's the time I was exposed to Top Gun. Top Gun, the movie. I was like, yay life. This is the life.
How many times in your life you said that yay life?
Yeah, because I was very clear, I was absolutely clear third semester के बाद से, okay, first to join करना है, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to leave my engineering. Okay. I'm going to keep a strong foothold on my engineering background and knowledge. That's why I had a career at TF. And then when time came, form भर दिया, उसका भी अलग story है. I filled the form and I remember stepping out in curfew to post it. Where I was again stopped by 2 CRPF Jawans. Me and one of my friends, he also wanted to post the form of UES and CDSE both. And then by then we had cultivated relationships with commanding officer of 1 JNK NCC Naval unit. That time it used to be Captain Aziz Badlo. I'm still in touch with the officer. Okay. So he was like, तुम आ जाना यहाँ पे, हम पोस्ट करवा देंगे, बट आना कैसे वो हमारे ऊपर है. तो कर्फ्यू में बाहर निकल के पता नहीं कैसे कैसे करके तो somehow borrowing 2-wheeler of one of our course-mates, उसमें पेट्रोल कहीं से ऑर्गेनाइज करना है, एंड देन उसमें साइड स्टैंड नहीं था, कुछ तो NIT का ID कार्ड निकाल के मेन गेट के बाहर निकल गए, एंड देन एक चेक पॉइंट से दूसरे चेक पॉइंट पे CRPF वाले गन पॉइंट पे रोक रहे हैं, who the fuck is this guy, something like that, तो somehow I managed to post my form. इस सिचुएशन में तो मैंने फॉर्म पोस्ट किया था. उसके बाद में उस सिचुएशन से बाहर निकल के जो प्रिलिमिनरी सिलेक्शन बोर्ड होता है वो अखनूर में एक आर्मी के UES एंट्री के लिए अखनूर के एक आर्टिलरी यूनिट में हुआ था, एंड देन दी नेवल UES एंट्री का प्री सिलेक्शन बोर्ड हैपेंड इन वन ऑफ द कॉलेजेस इन जम्मू. ओके. So कर्फ्यू हड़ताल के बीच में गाड़ी ढूंढ के निकाल के then you are going out and then again you are like somehow managed to reach Jammu and appear for PSB. इतने difficulties से तो we had to go just to get a call for the SSB, which is so simple and straightforward these days. This is not so simple and straightforward in those days. Talking about 2009-10, it was not straightforward. So yeah, I mean that's how it is. Just I think the passion, the dedication, the fixedness of purpose, the mental concentration, the strength of will in your actions. The same story I narrated in my interview also when I appeared for my interview at 14 SSB Allahabad and Naval Selection Board Coimbatore.
Okay.
We started, these guys were like laughing like, so this is how you managed to get the interview, SSB ka call. I said, yeah, this is how I managed to get it.
Okay. Now, after these all difficulties, I just want to know what were the conversations you used to have with the officers or soldiers who used to place in Kashmir for the duty. Do you have any conversations like a college kid going and asking something?
See, like I said, I developed a very good relationship with the then PRO, and because of him, I met quite a lot of officers here and there. And I had also developed very good relationship with the NCC battalion COs because we wanted to understand ki how will we be able to post the forms when the whole life in Kashmir has come to a halt, and we wanted some help. So we went and asked for help. So there's nothing great that ki conversation has like ki how's the life in the army. If I'm meeting some infanterian, like how's the life in infantry. If I'm meeting somebody who's a chopper pilot, how's the life as a chopper pilot. That's it. And इतना ही था बस, और तो कुछ था नहीं. That's it.
Okay. Now let us come to your exact procedure. How your SSB went on.
Okay, so my SSB is a very unique thing because I'll tell you. So, like I mentioned that after 7th, so during the 7th sem, after 6th, and just before the onset of 7th semester, I had met Professor Solu and I had finalized my final year project. My mom left home and I went to NIT back. After that, I lost my mom in December 2010.
Okay.
And I had to come back, finish her last rites, and then I went back. I appeared for my final semester examinations. Then I came to TF. Then I started working on the final year project again. Okay. And during that final year project, while I was working at DIPR, my home was shut. There was nobody at home. And here I was getting some kind of a stipend. So I was really happy कि थोड़ा बहुत पैसा तो. And then I was like कि ठीक है चलो I'll continue in this. And to my surprise, I got a call from the to appear for UES SSCX at Naval Selection Board Coimbatore.
Okay.
I had to ask for Friday ka chutti to go in Surup. Govind Swarup is like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why do you want to leave all this and join the Navy and everything? Everything is set here. Probably your career will just go up from here. Don't worry, ये सब खत्म करो बैठ के. He's like, नहीं sir, I want to give it a shot. एक बार लाइफ में ये SSB तो देखना है क्या होता है. What is this SSB? Let us just go and see this. So I went to Naval Selection Board Coimbatore. And then first day screening तो हो ही गया था. मैं कुछ तो बोला था उन्होंने. So you know the OIR test.
Yeah.
OIR test is nothing but it's a test of your mental ability, verbal, non-verbal reasoning and perception of patterns. So generally perception of patterns was something like it's just a cakewalk यार क्या है? It was just normal thing. I was like हाँ ठीक है कर देते. Then he said you see a picture, write a story, talk about past, present, future. That's your PPT.
Yes.
So I'm like ठीक है. I saw some picture, कुछ story बोला वो लिख दिया. बाद में बोला कि common story बनाना है. तो I made a common story. Okay fine. Took some points from here, there, and I made a common story. Like,
No, actually, you're telling me that you went for SSB without preparing.
Yeah, I did not do any preparation. I had no knowledge. I had zero knowledge about SSB. Zero knowledge. I take it done. Okay, fine. Then next day they called for some psych test. Now, psych test is today I know because I'm an assessor, TAT, BAT, SRT, SDT. तो मैंने कहा ठीक है, ओके फाइन, विल राइट स्टोरीज. जो मेरे दिमाग में आता है टू राइट स्टोरीज, sentences, situation, reaction. They said think about the situation that what you would be doing in that particular situation. मैंने कहा ठीक है, अगर ऐसा कुछ होगा तो मैं ऐसे करूँगा. And then they wanted me to explain SDT में parents, employers, teachers, friends, what do they think about it and what do you want to do in life. I remember very vividly writing about what do you want to do in life is, I said that I want to create an impact in the society with special reference to women. Because I was raised single-handedly by women. So I remember writing that I want to create an impact in a society, and after a certain period, I would like to own an organization of my own, which employs women who come from poor socioeconomic background, so that they have their own earning and their own livelihood, which makes them independent, especially focused on women who come from very, very poor socioeconomic backgrounds. This is what I want. This is what I wrote. So this is one thing that I knew, that I remember very vividly that I wrote this. So and GTO ka, as far as I remember everything was really nice, except for the fact that I remember that I had shouted on somebody in PGT because third obstacle or fourth obstacle mein, I think it was fourth, because now I understand today GTO के perspective से, fourth obstacle is generally frustrating in nature. It's very difficult and frustrating. So whatever solutions you would make, they'll keep shaking. So there is a tendency, there is a probability, there is a chance that somebody might fall down. And the structures were very high, they were like about 3 feet high. So this is guy who made some solution, but then he was like, he was about to fall down. I had shouted on him, ये ऐसे काम नहीं करेगा भाई. And then I remember GTO calling me vividly, why don't you tell this? Why don't you tell? So I was called and I said, ये ऐसे नहीं ऐसे करना पड़ेगा, वैसे नहीं वैसे करना पड़ेगा. And no matter what you do, without holding hand, you will not be able to go it because this will keep shaking, no matter what you do. So GTO was like, okay, fine, go back. And then next day I heard in conference that I was recommended. So I didn't know, first attempt, and I was like, I got recommended. Okay. So medical में गया, medical एक बार में clear हो गया. Again. तो ये scene था मेरा Naval SSB का. This is how I was first ever exposure to the SSB and I was recommended.
Okay. Also Meridian.
Yeah, I was All India rank 1.
Wow.
Yeah.
Good. Congrats, sir. Now, sir, tell me something about your academy days. How was the academy days?
इसके बाद तो आर्मी SSB भी देने गया था मैं.
Okay.
There also I was All India rank 1.
Okay. So what is this mantra you have for AIR 1?
There is no mantra. I am just me. I take the world head on. I don't fear anything. I don't even fear death anymore.
What makes you say this?
I have escaped death twice in my career in the Navy.
Okay.
So I don't fear anything at all.
So how do you defend death?
There is nothing like defend death. This moment you are alive, next moment you are not. That is death.
Okay. What according to you is death is?
I don't know how to answer this question because I have not died and I am not reincarnated to come and tell you कि okay, this is what death is.
Okay.
But the point that I'm trying to make here is that I was not skeptical about anything. I was absolute clear that this is what needs to be done. And this is the method and this is the process that you need to follow to get this thing done. Absolute clarity of thought. And if this doesn't work, this has to work. If this doesn't work, this has to work.
Okay.
I knew this. I had planned it that way. I had organized it that way.
Okay.
And you know, बोलते हैं ना कि empty stomach and torn pockets teach you the best lessons of life.
Yes.
I think I had to go through that process to learn and understand this. So I was very clear. Army SSB also very clear. And again, All India rank 1. That was 14 SSB Allahabad.
Okay.
So Allahabad is not a rejection board. It's a selection board.
Okay. Whether that, I think that is like just a built-up thing, rejection and selection. But I think all SSB boards are equal.
Yes, everything is same.
Now I want to just come to your academic days. How was your academic days? Whether it was tough or it was easy to you? How exactly it was?
So see, Indian Naval Academy is little different from the other academies because there you don't cycle. It is designed in such a manner that from your room where you stay in whichever squadron you are till your class or anywhere in the academy that you have to go, you will have lanes that are covered. You will just keep running from point A to point B. Nobody cycles at Indian Naval Academy. You will just keep running. You just on the double, you're just running and going, doing nothing, just running. Right from day one till the time you pass out. So otherwise some privileges for some people to walk and things like that were different things. But for me it was like, ठीक है, just another day यार. I used to run behind CRPF. क्या वो platoon वहाँ दौड़ते थे, यहाँ पे क्या है वो थोड़ा सा भारी शूज है, DMS बूट्स पहन के दौड़ रहे हैं, यूनिफॉर्म पहन के दौड़ रहे हैं, ठीक है क्या यूनिफॉर्म पहन के दौड़ रहे हैं, DMS बूट्स है, थोड़ा गन वन डाल दिया, थोड़ा पिट्टू लगा दिया, ठीक है दौड़ रहे हैं, सो व्हाट यार, दौड़ रहे हैं, सो व्हाट.
What were the lessons or teachings in the academy you still carry in your life?
See, academy teaches you few things that you will remember for the rest of your life. One thing is bonding, the friendships that you will forge. So basically, that social adaptability and cooperation is what you understand and what you learn in the academy, because you have to get rogered with those group of people. And you have to get into that situations where your body physically gives up, but your body mentally and psychology does not give up. And then you pull each other up. That is called as bonding. That social adaptability and cooperation stays with you for the rest of your life, and the friendships that you will forge. The other thing is, Indian Naval Academy has a motto, Vidya Amrutam Ashnuti. So, leading from darkness to light through knowledge, right? Knowledge is power.
Yes.
So, I already knew a lot of things about it as far as knowledge is concerned, because it was all ingrained within me by my mother, right from childhood. So you would say that, I mean, it's safe to say, it will not hurt to say that at times I was homeschooled by my mother as well, because my mother was an English teacher. And she also had a master's in history and bachelor's in physical education. So she taught me quite a lot of things at home. So coping up with that stress was very easy for me. But to answer your question, to be very specific as to what do I carry from the academy days, some extra amount of discipline, that I would say. Like my mom was a disciplinarian, but academy further polished it. And I had learnt the ownership, the sense of ownership and the sense of responsibility, because I had to carve my way all throughout until the academy that I reached by myself, without anyone else to having anyone else to fall back on. Single man show. So I used to keep thinking that my mother raised me up single-handedly. She was a one-man army. I can be a one-man army. What does it matter? If she can do it, why can't I? So it further sharpened the extreme ownership and sense of responsibility.
I just a question popped in my head when you were talking. You said me that your mother was having a background of history. So you getting born in Maharashtra. You are born in Maharashtra and brought up in Maharashtra. How does Shivaji Maharaj has affected you?
Yeah, see, Chhatrapati Shivaji Maharaj or Raze is, he laid the foundation stone of Swaraj.
Yes.
Okay, now, if you were to look at the map of Swaraj, when Raze reigned as a Chhatrapati, and if you look at today's India's map, he had a bigger hold on the land.
Yes.
And he was a guy who actually united people coming from different backgrounds and geographies and cultures.
Yes.
So he was one of the guys who was a hallmark of what exactly is leadership, leading by example. And he was also known as father of Indian Navy. Yeah. And there was this gentleman called as Kanoji Angre Sarkhe.
Who was he?
He was the admiral of the Maratha Navy.
Okay.
So he was a guy who kept invaders at the bay. He was the admiral of Maratha Navy.
Oh, he's called as Kanoji, right?
Kanoji.
Because
Sarkhe.
What does that mean? Sarkhe means?
The boss.
Okay.
Okay. So
that's the designation.
Yeah, Marathi, no? So Kanoji Angre is the name.
Okay.
And I was trained in Angre squadron.
Okay.
Okay. So Raze is something you learn about him in the history right from the beginning, and his stories are very, very enthralling, and the kind of things he achieved during his teenage, Raze, that itself talks humongous and voluminous about him.
If I'm not wrong, he fought his first battle at 17, right?
Javricha Killa बोलते हैं उसको. The quest of Zavri Fort.
Okay. Because I am very much admirer of the personality of Shivaji, and I also have read the book, The Great Maratha by Rajneesh Desai. Very good book. When I have read it 3 times just to get that feel. What a book! And it was like, I just want to say, when these people says, I don't know how much it makes good in this podcast. It's just popping up in my mind. When these people now say some Hindutva, I will not accept this guy, that guy. Shivaji Maharaj was the guy who accepted the converted relative of him to Islam. And that story, when I was reading that, I thought this is a leader. When his whole kingdom was against that, Shivaji Maharaj goes to his mother and he takes his blessing and he says this to his mother. And his mother smiles. She never says anything with the confidence that Shivaji can make a decision. He comes to the court and says, I accepted him. I accept him. He says, किसी को कोई शक है? Anybody has it down?
Yeah.
And how does that Shivaji Maharaj's personality has arose the leadership in you, awakened the leadership in you?
See, and I don't know how to answer this question, but all I can think or all I can say is that if that gentleman could do it, then I should be able to do it. And I think that's exactly what I was trying to do since I was 17, 18, 19. In 20, I became all alone. And even 17, 18, 19, I tried to earn my own bread and butter. Even tried to support my mom. While she was teaching kids at house, she was a teacher, and then she was also a recurring deposit savings agent at General Post Office. So कितना ही कमा लेती होगी यार एक औरत, कैसे पढ़ाएगी अपने बच्चे को? So I tried to support her as well. My picking up odd jobs when I was in college. Teaching students or rather teaching kids of my professors and earning from them. Mathematics, integral calculus, differential calculus. So, how that man has arose leadership in me, that man is a hallmark of never give up. And I think that's exactly what translates into my life, because I've seen my mom also never give up.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what I have done till date. No matter what, even if I have to pledge my life, never give up.
That is what Shivaji says at last. When he dies, the last word he spoke was, Jagadamba left us.
Yeah.
I did not leave you, Jagadamba left us. He never accepted that. So that is the one factor which has, you actually very much took it and carved into your life. Yeah. Now sir, you are passing out from a board, and again after joining to the Naval Academy, after joining the Navy, where was your first designation? First posting?
So I came as under trainee officer on board NS Ganga. There I had to learn the ways at sea
The ways at sea.
Yeah, you have to understand the life at sea. It's not straightforward. You
Okay.
have to understand a lot of things. You have to appear for a midshipman board. And
What is that midshipman board? Can you please elaborate?
midshipman board is a board where you are supposed to understand anything and everything that runs on a ship. So basically, you're supposed to understand the watchkeeping at sea and watchkeeping at harbor. You need to understand each and every technical systems, the engine room systems, the electrical systems, the radar systems, the sonar systems, the weapon systems, guided missiles, underwater weapons, sonar, radar. So many things are there on a warship. It's a fucking fighting formation. It's huge. It has a capacity to go and screw around a particular city, or even, I don't know, probably depending on the size of the country, you can just take out a country as well. Yeah, it has such humongous.
Take out Pakistan?
Don't want to comment on it, but we did that in 1971. Karachi Harbour was burning.
Okay.
Yeah, so we did that. Nothing that we can't do, we can do.
Okay.
If the push comes to shove, we'll do it. The point is, you need to understand all these things, and then you appear for a board. So, like services selection board, it's a board. Then midshipman board, it's a board. So you are appearing in front of a board, committee of officers, trying to prove your skill set. That yes, I have earned this. Now, next stage in my career, and that's how.
Okay.
Yeah.
So talk about your captain life.
Okay, so after a successful tenure of flag lieutenant, which is also called as EDCC, I was thrown into a commanding officer's chair, which is I was commanding Indian Naval Immediate Support Vessel Tango 1 Friend. Now this is not a boat, it's a warship, because there is a commissioning pennant. President's commission is given to the ship, so it becomes a ship.
Can you come again? Can you come again?
A warship is different from a boat because a warship has got a commissioning pennant.
What do you mean by commissioning pennant?
There's a small pennant. Okay, it flies at the main mast of the ship.
Okay.
And Honorable President of India institutes the ship into service by commissioning it.
Okay.
There is a President's commissioning order.
Okay.
So जितने warships हैं इंडियन नेवी में और सबमरीन्स हैं, उतने ही कमांडिंग ऑफिसर्स होंगे.
Okay.
Unlike army.
Okay.
And they are commanding officers. There is nothing like a concept of OC, officer commanding. This is a commanding officer, the CO, the captain, who comes with all the powers, operational, executionary, administrative and financial powers to spend money, government's money, for operational excellence of the assets. So I was the captain, but by the virtue of being the senior most captain in the entire squadron, I was the senior officer of ISV squadrons of West, based at Bombay. Now these ships are tasked to actually defend the oil field exploration areas in the western seaboard. So it's a very, very high momentum game because you're operating in a hydrocarbon environment against asymmetric threats. Okay, asymmetric threats are somebody like, if someone were to come through a sea route like 2611. So this thing gained momentum itself after 2611.
Okay.
So now this is a very, very high momentum game where you are partnering with fisheries, customs, coast guard, Marcos, and flag officer offshore defense advisory group, and the Oil and Natural Gas Corporation of India.
Okay.
So they are one umbrella under whom all the public, private, oil rig owners, business owners, they work. And you are supposed to defend that country's black gold. That is the job. So it's straightforward counter strike. The insertion speeds are 25, 28, 30 knots. Extraction speeds are that knots. And I would say it was the most enthralling experience of my life. Yeah.
When you're captaining the ship, what was the difficulties and what was the challenges you faced?
A captain also, the commanding officer, he never sleeps. He can't sleep. You are always on your toes.
Because why I'm asking you this question, recently I saw a video on Instagram where a huge wave or there was a cyclone something hitting a ship and everybody are running there, everybody are running for hiding themselves, and ship is just, it is just dancing like, I don't know how it is dancing in a very unusual manner, and everybody are shouting like captain kuch karta hai, captain kuch karta hai.
Captain क्या करेगा यार? He will just try to navigate the ship and take the waves on your bows. That's it. और कुछ करेगा नहीं है. Whatever is the.
But that belief that everybody says that captain kuch karega makes a captain like a.
Captain तब कुछ करेगा जब सामने से कुछ threat आएगा.
Okay.
ठीक है. And for that also he's got a team of specialists to work under him. He is the guy who is the operational planner, the strategy guy. वो दिमाग लगाता है. Execution करने के लिए उसके पास बहुत सारे specialists होते हैं. The commanding officer's responsibility is to keep the ship, the asset, operationally ready to get into operations.
Okay.
That is his job. And keep the manpower trained and ready so that when there is a call for an operation, the entire unit can behave like one cohesive unit or one cohesive formation against the enemy. That is the job of a captain.
Okay. Now, after you are a captain, why did you thought of becoming a GTO?
I did not think about becoming a GTO. I had spent almost 19 months in command.
Okay.
And after that, I wanted to get out of surface navy because I had been sailing for quite some time now, almost 6 years. And I wanted a base appointment, and I think I had done a pretty good job of leading 16 officers and 102 men at sea in operations. So 16 officers is a very huge number that you're commanding 16 officers. So what
do you mean by it's a huge number?
Because at any given point of time, there are very less billets, war-going billets, sea-going billets, warships.
You want to simplify that?
Yeah.
Even I am not understanding what is billets.
It's a normal English word, yeah.
Yeah.
So at any given point of time,
Okay.
a complement of 16 officers available to a commanding officer, it's very rare in the Navy.
Okay.
So in terms of manpower, you could say that I was one of the richest officers. Because as a commanding officer, if you have 16 officers, that's a huge number.
Okay.
102 men is okay. Men can vary, number of sailors on ship can vary, but 16 officers is a huge number. So now I have like, so you've commanded 16 officers, right? So you were writing some kind of reports on them for their career progression, right? And I got a call from Naval headquarters that there's one course, GTO course. Probably you can take that thing in case if you want a base posting, and you've done a pretty good job because I actually wrote the doctrine of how to handle asymmetric threats like 2611 in hydrocarbon environment. And then I also wrote a doctrine on operational efficiency of these immediate support vessels. And then I demonstrated the operational capabilities to the theatre commander, the CNC, Western Naval Command. And I also saved a life at sea. That one of the sailors on board my ship fell into the sea during an operation, and I had to jump into the water to save him. So I had saved a life at sea. So all these things integrated together, they were like, "ठीक है, we will consider your name for the GTO course. Why don't you come for the course?" So when I landed up in DIPR, they called me to the Naval headquarters. They were like, "Yeah, we heard the stories that you've saved a life at sea. Extremely well, good job done." They had seen my citations and other letters with respect to the job that I had done, which was like a commendation kind of a thing. When you get commended for a good job that is done by your seniors. And then they were like, the news has already reached Naval headquarters. Now you tell if you want to go and do the GTO course. I was like, done. Okay. Something new to be done.
वो का नहीं छोड़ता है.
जो आया ले लो यार. So I went to DIPR. And to my surprise, I qualified the theory. And then I came back again to Naval Selection Board, Coimbatore.
सर मुझे ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है. From that time you say that from surprise I clarified theory. I went in with a preparation. I cleared that. ये क्या बस भगवान का हाथ है?
भगवान का हाथ नहीं है यार. I just went to the course and then I started. जो पढ़ा रहा है पढ़ो, जो क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है उसका आंसर दो, घुमा फिरा के बोलने यानी जो बोला है उतना करना है, खत्म करना.
If it was this simple, everybody would have done that.
People don't do that. That's the problem. Now, I landed for my practical training at Naval Selection Board Coimbatore, from where I had gotten recommended. That's the board from where I started my career.
Okay.
And I went to the same board to become a GTO. I was trained there. There also I passed out with flying colors, and they were like, they are making this SSB Kolkata. So you go as a commissioning crew.
Yes.
So I went there as a commissioning crew.
Okay.
वहाँ पे गया तो देखा GTO स्टार्टिंग से पूरा बनाने का. So many GPs, tasks are there, उनको operationalize करना है. Individual obstacles बनी नहीं उनको बनाना है. GOR operationalize करना है. इतने सारे PGTs है, command tasks है, पता नहीं क्या क्या करना है. GPs बनानी है, lecturate cards बनाने हैं, GD के topics चाहिए, सब scratch से बैठ के बनाया मैंने उधर. So that was my job. I was trained for that. Government of India, Ministry of Defence, Indian Navy was paying me to do this job. I might as well do it with 100% accuracy and commitment, sense of responsibility and extreme ownership. Otherwise, why the hell will I draw salary? Government has asked me to do this, right? Navy has asked me to put on a, you are sitting on a chair with veto power. They can be a interviewing officer who can be a Commodore or a Major General in a center. They can be a scientist G or F or H for that matter. I don't know H to hoga, but G or F, DIPR scientist who is a psychologist, and there can be a lieutenant commander who is sitting as a GTO. Veto power means veto power, irrespective of your rank and seniority in service and experience.
Okay.
If somebody says no, मतलब no. तो अगर एक लेफ्टिनेंट कमांडर जीटीओ ने नहीं बोला है, इंटरव्यू ऑफिसर मेजर जनरल भी है, नो मतलब नो ही होता है. Nobody can override. That means you are doing that job with extreme ownership. मैं अपने घर की फौज बना रहा हूँ क्या? I am selecting officers for the Indian Army and Navy, right?
Yes.
Because I served in the center, so I know I've sat in Army batches also. So I am not making naval officers for my house. It is Indian Navy. Right? They will be awarded President's Commission. So somebody investing that power and authority on you, who writes some things for you. I got trained under a GTO. There are instructed GTOs who make you GTO, right? तो उसने कुछ सोच समझ के मेरे अंदर कुछ देखा और फिर लिखा ना, हाँ ये बंदा काम कर सकता है GTO वाला. And everybody doesn't become a GTO, my dear friend. It's not easy to become a GTO. It is one of the toughest courses. Of all three courses, the toughest course is the GTO course.
What makes it tough?
Because you have to know all the briefings verbatim. And the entire testing material that you need to assess a candidate needs to be developed by the GTO. As far as interview is concerned, it's a technique that you learn. Freudian free association technique, behavior consistency principle. For psych tests, there is a group of scientists sitting together to develop the pictures for different kinds of entries. Men, women, 10+2 graduates. तो उनका टेस्टिंग मटेरियल रेडी है. जीटीओ का टेस्टिंग मटेरियल इंडिविजुअल जीटीओ को अपने अकेले खुद बनाना पड़ता है. That is why it is one of the toughest courses, and you have to learn all the briefings, because across all the boards in our country, all GTOs will give the same briefing for all the tasks, whether Army, Navy, Air Force.
Okay. Now I want to know, as you said that you have built up the Kolkata board from scratch. So, what do you exactly mean by building up from the scratch, and what are the techniques used in building up a board? For example, isometry techniques. There are many techniques of a structure. When a structure is prepared, there are many techniques and ideology behind that.
There is nothing like an ideology behind that. The entire thing that goes into building a structure is the concept of Gestalt psychology and group approach to leadership testing.
Okay.
And that's what you learn as a part of your GTO course. And that's how you design the structures, because you need to be expert at getting out those kinds of behavior manifestations for which one particular structure or a task is built. So there is nothing like a technique. The only technique is group testing technique, on which everything is based. That's number one. Number two is your question on building up a board from scratch. When you say that you're building a board from scratch, you are converting a land into a fully functional naval base which has got an inherent board. The board means there's this community of officers who are going to come and sit there. So you need to have the entire testing area available, the group testing area, the office space for the interviewing officers, the testing area for the site tests. All these needs to come under some kind of a turnkey project which needs to be run under GEM, Government E-Procurement and E-Tendering. So I was leading the tendering part there. So I was head of administration and I was head of tendering. So I ran about major, minor 7 to 8 turnkey projects to actually set up the board. Setting up means you need to have stay facility for candidates. You need to have candidates mess, galley, the men, their living quarters, the officers' living quarters, the officers' mess, the admin building, the testing hall, the GTO ground. ऐसे नहीं बनता यार ये सब के लिए. You are spending government money. You have to run turnkey projects through government channels and you have to work in consonance with military engineering services and get this establishment done fully functional, ready, so that you could call candidates and start the testing there. It's not just about making a GTO ground.
Okay. Now, these are the important questions what I got in my Instagram handle to ask to you. So a candidate asked me, when we go first day, there is one, according to me, as a candidate I will speak, as a cadet I will speak, as an aspirant I will speak now. The first day what screening process goes on, for me it is a useless process I feel as a, because you are the GTO and you are authorized person, so I want to know that, I want to know the ideology and I want to know the what technique is behind that. When you enter a group discussion center, just in 30 seconds you analyze a candidate, you assess a candidate.
Yes. And it is not completely useless because the entire crowd that comes to me on day one, 99% of it is useless.
How come? How do you know it?
Because there are certain parameters that are set for which an assessment is being done. First, you need to understand SSB का concept कब start हुआ था. It was War Office Selection Board that was set up in 1941.
By Germany.
Not Germany, Britishers. War Office Selection Board set up by Britishers. As a part of addressing the crunch in military leadership during World War II. So they came up with this concept. And then there was this gentleman called as Henry Harris who came up with the concept of group approach to leadership testing. And that's the history. So until late 80s or late 90s, I'm not able to zoom into an exact date or exact year. Till then, the 5-day testing was just the way it is. Without introduction of a stage 1 and 2 selection system. We introduced stage 1 into the selection system for primarily few reasons. Number one being the load of testing so many candidates could be lessened because people who come on day 1, they are not going to meet the minimum acceptable level criteria is what was understood statistically over a period of years. So they wanted to lessen the testing pressure on the assessors because number of assessors is less. That's number one. Number two, so that you can weed out, you can filter out people who will make it to the grade which is minimum acceptable level defined by DIPR. तो वो कचरे को अगर मेरे को हटाना है, मुझे पता है कि he is not going to meet the minimum acceptable level. Statistically, it has been proven over a period. So I can introduce one more filter so that I can weed out and I can know potentially कौन से लोग minimum acceptable level.
मुझे ये समझ में नहीं आता. How can you assess the potentiality of a candidate so like your potential is built to candidate over 20 years and you people analyze it in 30 seconds.
We people analyze it in a duration of 30 minutes, not 30 seconds.
What do you mean by 30 minutes? So that OIR also, that picture perception test also, and also the duration.
That's correct. It's a combination of officer intelligence rating scale that you have arrived at after the OIR test has been conducted. And then you have something which is called as picture perception, description and discussion test. Discussion will be. So there is some time frame to this. and 3 people who are sitting in front of the in front of the group which is sitting for the discussion, वो 3 लोग GTOs, IOs और psychologists ही है, and they are conducting an on the spot conference based on certain key parameters that have been designed to assess the written part of the story vis-a-vis the stimulus that was given and the individual narration followed by the discussion. There are so many parameters to it. So it is not something which does not make sense.
I want to just break down this. See, you told me that there will be three persons sitting, GTO, psych, and an interviewing officer. And they will be listening to your story, this audio narrating with already a written story there. Yes. Now the question is, as you are a GTO, when you are sitting in that chair, so what are the points you used to see in the candidates who are narrating?
There are 6 parameters for assessment: content, perception, mannerism, confidence, expression, participation.
So let me complete the question. And also, before coming to that seat on that day, you people have already seen the picture.
Yeah, of course, we have to see the picture.
Okay. So when you see the picture, there is a story running in your head also, right? A हो सकता है. A on these topics, on this theme, the story would have formed. You know that.
We know that yes, generally this will be the kind of story that you will build. Generally, these are the parameters यहाँ पे touch कर सकते हैं.
Yes, you know, right?
And there can be n number of parameters because the entire board sees that thing. Entire board means all interviewing officers, all GTOs, all psychologists, all under training officers.
Okay. Now, my point is, when the whole board sees that, inside your board itself there is 100 stories, right?
No, there will not be 100 stories. A board comprises of, at any given point of time, 12 to 13 specialist assessors.
You're not getting my point. When I say 100 stories, I'm not exactly. Well, it does not.
Okay, metaphorically, n
number of stories. Yeah. For example, there are 12 assessors. 12 assessors each one has each story. 12 stories. So each assessor may have 3 stories to back. मतलब ये भी हो सकता है, ये भी हो सकता है, ये भी हो सकता है.
So I am not understanding what point are you trying to make.
That's what I come. When you people have this amount of opportunity, this amount of stories, and a candidate who sits here at that point of given time frame, in that pressure of writing things and pressure of competition, he writes the thing and narrates. And if a story goes, the story what I've written and narrated is not it's not at all related to your stories. You have not listened to the story. It's a new story. How would you assess it?
It is good. He's brought something new, and there is nothing like a competition, my dear friend. Here, you are competing with you. You are not competing with others. Let's break this myth. You are not competing with anyone else but you. If I were to grade you on a particular QR that is there laid down for stage 1 selection, which is followed by all 21 boards in our country, if everyone meets the criteria, I will keep everyone in the board. And if need be, I'll call extra assessors in the center from इधर-उधर के boards. And if board के अंदर उतने assessors नहीं होंगे, तो लोग single day testing करेंगे. अगर वो भी कम पड़ जाएगा, तो इधर-उधर के बाकी के board से centers में बुलाएंगे. पर तुम लोग को QR meet करना पड़ेगा. कोई हमारे ऊपर ये नहीं है, प्रेशर नहीं है कि इतने ही रखने और इतने नहीं रखने, ऐसा कुछ भी नहीं होता. It does not work like this. So if you are thinking कि whatever the assessors have thought, वही stories के साथ में match होगा तो ही ये अंदर जाएगा, ऐसा नहीं होता my dear friend. That's why I said there are 6 parameters: content, perception, mannerism, confidence, expression, participation. ये 6 parameters है. ठीक है.